Alright, it's week 15 in the NFL, and these are my picks for this week. First game we're going to discuss is the Bengals against the Eagles. The Bengals lost a close game Sunday to the Cowboys after making key drops that would have sealed the game for them. Because of the loss, it gives up their wild card spot to the Jets, or gives the Jets a chance to take their wild card spot. Had the Bengals won, it would have put them in a good position to keep it, and maybe would have even got them in the division, considering that the Ravens lost also. The Eagles had a comeback win against the Buccaneers on Sunday. Nick Foles right now I think is playing mainly to be the starter for next season. The Eagles may be out of the playoff race, but right now I think they're just playing mainly for pride and maybe also for Andy Reid's job, because I think if they win out, he'll probably keep the job. I like the Eagles in an upset this week because I don't think the Bengals have what it takes to close out games. And if they play the way they did it on Sunday against the Cowboys, this week against the Eagles, I just don't see them winning it. I like the Eagles 24 and the Bengals 21. Alright, in this game we're going to talk about the San Diego Chargers against the Carolina Panthers. The Chargers had a big win against the Steelers last week, but it may have come too late. At this point, the Chargers are pretty much done in the playoff race. It looks like Norv Turner might get fired finally, but after having just back-to-back disappointing seasons for the Chargers, he still hasn't been fired, so it's hard to say if he actually will. The Panthers had a big win also when they beat the Falcons, and the Panthers have had a lot of close games, and really, I don't think their record shows how good they are. I think they're much better than their record. If they just had been able to close out games, they'd probably be in the wild card race right now. That being said, I like the Panthers this week because I just think they're going to be able. I think they're better at closing out games than the San Diego Chargers, and so I like them 27, Chargers 24. All right, the next game we're going to talk about is the Washington Redskins against Cleveland Browns. The Redskins had a huge win on Sunday after beating the Ravens in overtime. RG3 had a great game, and even after he got hurt, quarterback Kirk Cousins came in and got the tie and sent them into overtime. The Browns, they're not having the greatest of seasons, as usual. They just haven't had any consistent seasons. The only bright spot for them is running back Trent Richardson, who's playing like he can be a starter in this league for a long time. I like the Redskins this week. Even if RG3 isn't playing, I think Kirk Cousins is more than enough to help guide this team to the victory against the Browns. Plus, the Redskins still need to get the victories if they want a chance to make the wild card or even win the division should the Giants lose. So I like the Redskins 28, the Browns 13. Right, the next game we're going to talk about is the Denver Broncos against the Baltimore Ravens. Peyton Manning has turned a team that barely made the playoffs last year into division winner and a team that will be scary to deal with in the playoffs. The Ravens had a bad loss in overtime to the Redskins last week, which hurt their chances of getting a first-round bye. I like the Broncos this week, mainly because Peyton Manning right now is playing like the MVP, and I just don't think the Ravens are going to have an answer for him. I don't think their defense is going to have an answer for him. I like the Broncos 31, the Ravens 21. Alright, the next matchup we're going to discuss is the New York Giants against the Atlanta Falcons. The Giants had a big win Sunday when they beat the Saints 52-27 and kept their one-game lead in the NFC East. The Falcons lost to the Panthers last Sunday. The loss, it didn't really hurt them because they already had the division won, but if they still want to get that number one seed, a win was probably needed on Sunday. I like the Giants this week against the Falcons because they're still playing for a playoff spot and for the division, and I think they're going to come out hungrier than the Falcons will be because the Falcons know that even if they lose again, they'll still be in the playoffs. So I like the Giants this week 31-20. Alright, the next game we're going to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Miami Dolphins. The Jaguars are having another disappointing season. Justin Blackmon hasn't turned into the receiver that they thought he was going to be, and Blaine Gabbert got hurt with a shoulder injury, which knocked him out for the rest of the season. They put in Chad Henne, and he's kind of provided a little spark, but it's still not enough to make up for the season. Miami lost last week to the 49ers, which probably ended their playoff chances. Ryan Tannehill, it looks like he's going to be the quarterback for next season, but if they want to help him, they're going to need to draft some receivers or get another running back. Actually, maybe not a running back, because Reggie Bush actually did pretty well before he got injured, so maybe just a receiver. But he's going to need some more weapons if he wants to be a good quarterback in this league. I like Miami this week only because I think they're better than the Jaguars in all aspects of the game. Their defense is just better than the Jags. Their offense is more composed than the Jags. I like Miami this week, 27-10. All right, in this game we're going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals against the Detroit Lions. The Lions had high hopes for the season after having such a good season last year, but this one has been a major disappointment. Early in the season, Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson couldn't get on the same page. However, towards the end of it, right now they're on the same page, and Calvin Johnson's playing like how he was last year. But still, they haven't really made that many strides, and they've lost a lot of close games. The Cardinals, they started off 4-0, and now they've lost 9 straight. I don't know what happened to them. Like, a lot of people, I mean, they started off looking really good, but they just haven't been the same team since then. There isn't much to say about this game. I think the Lions should win pretty easily. After the Cardinals lost 58-0 last week, I think any team in the league could beat them, really. So I like the Lions 35, Cardinals 3. Alright, next game we're going to talk about is the Kansas City Chiefs against the Oakland Raiders. To be honest, I don't really care for this game because both teams have had disappointing seasons. Both teams aren't very good. I mean, both teams have their bright spots, like the running backs for both teams. The Chiefs have Jamal Charles. The Raiders have Darren McFadden. Both have been hit by injuries, though, which I think hurt both offenses. Both also need quarterbacks. Matt Cassell just hasn't really been all that great. Carson Palmer still isn't that great. I like the Raiders this week mainly because I think they're just a better team than the Chiefs, which isn't really saying much because both are still pretty bad. But I'll take the Raiders 24, Chiefs 10. Alright, the next game we're going to talk about is the San Francisco 49ers against the New England Patriots. This is an important game for both teams this week because the 49ers can finally see if Colin Kaepernick can perform against a good team like the Patriots. If he can, I think they're probably going to keep him as a starter for the rest of the season and for the playoffs. If he doesn't, it'll just raise more questions about who should be the starter, him or Alex Smith. This is also a big game for the Patriots because if they want to stay in contention for that number 1 seed, they're going to need another victory and hope the Texans lose. I like San Francisco this week mainly because I think their defense matches up a little bit better with the Patriots than the Texans could. Also, I don't think the Patriots defense can stop Colin Kaepernick if he decides to run with the ball. So I like the 49ers 27, the Patriots 21. Alright, next matchup we're going to talk about is the Green Bay Packers against the Chicago Bears. The Packers held off the Lions last Sunday and got a 1-game lead in the North thanks to the Bears losing to the Vikings on Sunday. The Bears defense just didn't look the same since losing Brian Urlacher. They couldn't stop Adrian Peterson, who's playing like an MVP right now. But despite that, it's just one guy, and it's not like the Vikings have a good passing game. It's mainly just their running game that they were relying on. And by playing the Packers this week, if the Bears can't stop a running game, I don't think they can stop the Packers' throwing game. I like the Packers this week, mainly because the Bears' defense seems to be on the decline, and I don't think they have what it takes to stop a high-powered offense like the Packers. So I like the Packers 35, the Bears 17. Alright, next game we're going to talk about is the Indianapolis Colts against the Houston Texans. Texans got destroyed on Monday by the Patriots, which messed up the chances of getting that number 1 seed and winning the division, because right now the Colts are the team that are in the division that are coming up on them real fast. Andrew Luck is playing like the Rookie of the Year, and he's just leading his team to win after win after win, and a lot of them are comeback victories. I think everyone knew Luck was going to be good, but I don't think anyone predicted that he was going to be having the Colts in the position to win the division, and let alone make it for the wild card even. So this week I like the Colts because they're playing so well, and I don't know if the Texans are going to be able to stop him on defense just because of how talented he is. So I like the Colts 24 and the Texans 21. Alright, next game we're going to talk about is the Seattle Seahawks against the Buffalo Bills. The Seahawks are quickly showing that they're a team that shouldn't be looked down on, and after beating the Cardinals 58-0, I'm pretty sure a lot of teams are now on notice. The Bills, they had a chance to stay in the playoff race, but they blew it last week when they lost to the Rams, and I don't think there's any way for them to make that wildcard spot now. That being said, I like Seattle because their defense is good, and Russell Wilson is showing that he wants to be in the same talk as RG3 and Andrew Luck as being a good rookie quarterback. So I like them 28, Bills 13. Alright, next game we're going to talk about is Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints. The Bucs had a tough loss last Sunday when they let the Eagles come back on them. And because of that loss, it kind of hurts their chances for the last spot in the NFC for the wild card. Right now, they're looking at they're probably going to need a win out in order to earn that spot. The Saints also had a tough loss last week when they got blown out by the Giants. Drew Brees just isn't playing like he normally does, which is like usually throwing 4 touchdowns a game with no picks. Now he's throwing a lot of picks and no touchdowns. I like the Bucs though this week because until Drew Brees fixes his problems, I just don't see the Saints doing anything. That and their defense just isn't one of the best in the game right now. So I like the Buccaneers 24, Saints 14. Alright, now we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys just barely won last week against the Bengals 20-19. However, in my opinion, they should have lost. The only reason they won is because the Bengals just couldn't make plays when they needed to, and they had 3 easy picks that should have been intercepted, but they just choked on them. I mean, the Cowboys, they have talent on both sides of the ball, but they're just way too inconsistent to be a threat. The Steelers last week lost to the Chargers. That was also kind of an upset because a lot of people were expecting, with the returning Ben Roethlisberger, for them to beat the Chargers that week, but for some reason they just couldn't do it. I like the Cowboys this week, though, because after seeing the Steelers play last week, it's hard to say if they're going to be able to contain the Cowboys offense. I know Dez Bryant has an injury, and so does Miles Austin, but still, I think the Cowboys are going to be able to somehow pull out another close victory. I like the Cowboys 20, Steelers 17. All right, the next game we're going to talk about is the Minnesota Vikings against the St. Louis Rams. The Vikings had a big win last week when they beat the Bears, and it puts them in position to try to get that wild card spot. The Rams also got a good win last week, and they're also trying to get that last wild card spot. It should be an interesting game because both teams need a victory, because I think one more loss for either of them would put them out of the playoff race. I like the Vikings, though, just because Adrian Peterson is playing like an MVP candidate, and without him, the Vikings wouldn't be anywhere near as good. Plus, I don't think the Rams have an answer for him. So I like the Vikings 21, the Rams 17. Alright, the last game we're going to talk about is the Tennessee Titans against the New York Jets. The Jets somehow are still in the playoff race, mainly because they've just been playing really terrible teams. Like, honestly, they shouldn't even be in the race. The Jets are a really bad team. I just don't know why they're in it still. Titans were hoping to have a better season behind Jake Locker, but he got hurt, which hurt their chances of having a good season. That being said, I like the Jets still because I just think the Jets are better than the Titans. I think should the Jets get in the playoffs, though, they probably won't beat anyone, but for this week, I like them against the Titans 2017. So those are my picks for Week 15. Thank you.
Thank you.